A pale June dawn breaks over the French coast, but far from the beaches, deep inside the Vorbunker in Rastenburg, East Prussia, Adolf Hitler remains ensconced in his heavy blankets. The ticking of the clock echoes through the dimly lit room, a sound both mundane and menacing. Outside, the wind carries whispers of gunfire and the roar of Allied planes. Yet inside, the Führer's aides hesitate to disturb him. You can almost feel the tension in the air, the kind that tightens your chest and quickens your pulse. These men, generals and officers, hover like shadows, debating whether to wake their leader. The last thing they want is to provoke his infamous rage. Yet the message from the West cannot wait. The Allies have landed. Normandy. D-Day. The largest amphibious assault in history has begun. When the news finally reaches him, Hitler opens his eyes, a faint sneer curling on his lips. A diversion, he says, his voice cold, dismissive. The real attack comes at Pas-de-Calais. In that instant, he freezes the clock in his mind, refusing to believe the invasion under his very nose is genuine. He orders no immediate movement of the armored Panzer divisions stationed near the coast. Weeks of hesitation begin here, fueled by arrogance, disbelief, and the success of Allied deception operations. Hitler's skepticism was not born from ignorance. Intelligence reports, reconnaissance, and intercepted communications pointed unmistakably to Normandy. Yet Operation Fortitude, a masterstroke of Allied deception, had seeded enough doubt. Dummy tanks, inflatable planes, false radio chatter, and the looming specter of Patton's Phantom Army, all painted a picture of an impending assault at Pas-de-Calais. The deception was meticulous. The Allies had turned uncertainty into a weapon. As the first waves of soldiers slog through the cold, churning waters, you can almost hear the muffled cries of men swallowed by history's largest battle. But in Hitler's mind, the real storm is yet to come elsewhere. His aides report troop movements, casualty estimates, and artillery progress, yet each message is met with derision. No, he insists, they are probing. They will strike for real at Calais. And so, a critical window opens. 6 weeks stretch before Eisenhower and the Allies, 6 weeks in which the Germans, under their deluded commander, hold their armored forces in check. The very men who could have crushed the fledgling beachhead remain frozen, caught in the web of Hitler's conviction. The battle for Normandy begins not with fire, but with disbelief. By nightfall, the German high command is in quiet turmoil. Reports of resistance, delays, and mounting casualties filter through the chain of command. Yet nothing shakes the Führer as certainty. In his mind, patience is strategy. Outside, the beaches are scarred with smoke, sand, and the cries of young men who will define history. And still, the Panzer divisions do not move. What Hitler does not yet know is that this very hesitation is granting the Allies time a gift of unimaginable scale. Normandy is theirs to entrench, to fortify, to make unassailable. The first of many revelations is dawning. The greatest mistake of Hitler's career may already be underway. In the moments following the initial disbelief, the French coastline is a symphony of chaos. Waves crash over landing craft, artillery fire punctuates the sky, and the screams of the wounded mingle with shouts of orders. The smell of salt, sweat, and cordite hangs thick. Yet in bunkers and command posts, thousands of miles away, a different scene unfolds. Hitler's confidence, steeped in arrogance and deception, radiates through his orders. Panzer generals, including Leopold von Schweppenberg and Heinrich Eberbach, wait by their radios, mouths dry, hands poised. They know that every hour spent immobilized costs lives, yet their Führer's voice is law. The Allies, fully aware of their advantage, exploit every delay. Engineers dig in, supplies unload, and tanks roll ashore. You can almost feel the tension of a world teetering on a knife's edge. Every moment Hitler waits is a triumph for Eisenhower's meticulous planning. Normandy's beaches, once vulnerable, begin to solidify into the foundation of liberation. Reports of airborne operations, the drops of paratroopers behind enemy lines, arrive at German headquarters, each one met with incredulity. Hitler dismisses them as distractions. He questions the reliability of every source, convinced that the Allies' real strike remains at Calais. The mental paralysis of one man translates to operational paralysis for an entire army. Even the weather, an unpredictable variable that had delayed the invasion, now conspires with the Allies. Clear skies and manageable seas allow reinforcements to land steadily. Soldiers trudge through mud and rubble, their fatigue tangible, yet their resolve unbroken. You can almost smell the gunpowder. Feel the chill of Normandy's early summer morning on your skin, and hear the distant roar of naval guns pounding German fortifications. Inside Hitler's command, calls fly in like frantic birds. Field marshals report urgent needs for reinforcements. Intelligence chiefs provide updated maps, aerial photographs, and intercepted communications. Each report is countered with the same unyielding mantra, pas de Calais. The rigidity of belief becomes the chains that bind Germany's response. Time slips through their fingers like sand, and with each passing day, the Allies consolidate their hold on the beaches, unopposed by the full might of the Wehrmacht. As night falls, Normandy transforms from a landing site into a beachhead, a sprawling foothold for an invasion army the world has never seen. And still, Hitler's Panzer divisions remain frozen, a potential hammer poised but never dropped. The calm before the storm is deceptive, a quiet that hides the blood-soaked battle to come. The revelation is growing clearer. The Führer-esque refusal to adapt is shaping the course of history in real time. Imagine standing in the shadows watching a ghost army assemble. Inflatable tanks, dummy planes, fake radio chatter. Smoke drifts across fields with no actual fires beneath it. This is Operation Fortitude in motion, a carefully orchestrated illusion designed to prey on Hitler's suspicions. Allied intelligence feeds the German command a false narrative. Reports of troop concentrations in southeast England suggest a massive strike at Pas de Calais. Even Hitler's seasoned generals, wary of deception, are caught in the web. You can almost feel the tension as German planners debate. Are these real forces, or shadows on the wind? Yet Hitler's mind has been sealed by his biases. The Normandy invasion cannot be real. It's too small, too chaotic, too insignificant compared to the phantom threat looming across the channel. The psychological warfare is flawless. Every radio transmission, every double agent, every inflatable tank reinforces the illusion. Patton's reputation as a master strategist becomes a weapon in itself, a specter whose shadow chills German planning rooms. Hitler believes the real storm is yet to come. His indecision freezes the Panzer divisions in place, denying them the mobility to counteract the beachhead. The Allies, exploiting both deception and his obstinacy, solidify their positions. Meanwhile, in Normandy, soldiers push inland, establishing supply lines, taking villages, and building the foundation for liberation. You can almost feel the grit under their boots, the exhaustion pressing down on them, the camaraderie and fear interwoven in each step. And still, the mightiest German armored units remain immobilized. A silent testament to the power of misinformation and overconfidence. The stakes escalate daily. Casualties mount, but the beachhead survives. Hitler makes frantic calls, demands updates, and grows increasingly frustrated. Yet even anger cannot break the delusion. Operation Fortitude has succeeded beyond imagination, not by fire, but by convincing one man to see shadows as threats and reality as illusion. The Allies' most critical advantage is not their weapons, but the mind of their enemy. By the end of this phase, you realize the profound irony. Germany's fate hinges on the certainty of a single man's disbelief. History is being written not just on the beaches, but in the minds of those who refuse to see what is before them. Weeks drag by. The Normandy beaches, once fragile and contested, now thrum with the rhythm of logistics. Trucks, tanks, and troops move with disciplined precision. Every day brings fresh supplies, reinforcements, and the relentless march of progress. And yet the Panzer divisions sit idle, mere kilometers away, locked in a mental stalemate orchestrated by Hitler. Inside German command, anxiety grows. Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt and others push for decisive action. Messages plead for deployment of armored units to repel the invasion. Each day of hesitation costs men their lives, yet Hitler's belief in a Pas de Calais strike remains unshaken. Instant action is a strangling grip on Germany's defensive capability. You can almost hear the whispers of frustration, the clatter of maps and models, as officers try to plan under impossible constraints. Each attempt to act is met with denial from above. Orders are stalled, movements delayed. By the time Hitler begrudgingly releases the Panzer divisions, the opportunity has vanished. The Allies have entrenched themselves, turning vulnerability into strength. On the beaches, soldiers dig trenches, fortify positions, and push inland. You can feel the heat of summer on their backs, the grit of sand and soil under fingernails, the relentless pulse of artillery echoing across the countryside. Normandy is no longer a landing site. It is a foothold, a launching pad for liberation. All this is made possible because one man refused to see the obvious. The human cost is immense. Casualties mount on both sides, yet the balance of power shifts inexorably toward the Allies. Every day, the Panzer divisions remain immobile. Every moment Hitler delays cements the beachhead further. The Germans are trapped not by superior forces, but by the delusion of a single leader. And in the shadows of command bunkers, you can almost hear Hitler's voice, sharp and insistent, as reality begins to pierce the veil. No, this cannot be happening. The real attack, it must still come. But the truth is already undeniable. The die has been cast. By late June, Hitler's disbelief crumbles into frantic disbelief. The reports of Allied strength are undeniable. Villages are taken, German lines are breached, beaches are secure, and Eisenhower's forces are expanding inland. Can feel the desperation in Hitler's voice as he demands updates by the hour. A man confronted by a reality he refused to see for too long. Every call is laced with urgency, every order tinged with panic. The Panzer divisions, now unleashed, arrive too late, confronted with a well-entrenched enemy. The momentum has shifted irrevocably. Hitler's earlier confidence, his insistence on waiting for the real attack, has gifted the Allies 6 unchallenged weeks, a window no strategist could have dreamed of. In Normandy, soldiers push forward with grim determination. The beaches, once chaotic and vulnerable, now pulse with military efficiency. Engineers repair roads, medics tend to the wounded, and commanders coordinate movements inland. You can almost see the landscape transform from scarred coastline to springboard for liberation. The psychological impact on German forces is profound. Confusion, frustration, and fear ripple through the ranks. Their most potent weapon, mobility, has been squandered by inaction. Hitler's delusion has left them reacting instead of dictating, responding instead of controlling. History, in its cruel impartiality, rewards decisiveness and punishes hesitation. As the narrative of D-Day unfolds, one truth emerges with cinematic clarity. The largest beachhead in history was secured not solely by strategy or courage, but by the power of deception and the peril of refusal. Hitler's initial refusal to believe in Normandy's reality shaped the course of a continent. A moment of disbelief had become a turning point in world history, and in the echo of those first landings, the lessons resonate across time. Hubris and delusion can tilt the scales of war, while calculated deception and decisive action can redefine them.